I've always loved King of the Hill. In fact, it's one of my favorite shows of all time. I watch it all the time, and I watch it during sick days from work. I watch it during the holidays from work, and even watch it while at work, which is greatly angers my boss, Richard Bagg. Richard Bagg was once a pre-medical student who had lost his dreams of medical school as he was forced to take a job running a propane company. Yes, I sell propane just like my idol, Hank Hill. My love for Hank Hill far extends my love for everything else in life, including my family and my friends, as well as my lover, Desmond Knows, who is just a scarecrow. Just don't ask. I mean, seriously, don't ask or else I will shove a pine cone down your throat. Anyways, even though I sell propane and my dream is to one day become the world-famous musician, just like my idol, Kelpie G. I once went to his concerts when he sang Don't Go Breaking My Heart. The worst thing about selling propanes was all because of this competition our company was facing with a rival company known as Dodo Incorporated, which is run by none other than Colonel Dodo. And yes, Colonel Dodo with the horrible hearing upon craving chips. He somehow runs an incredibly successful gas company and makes around $100 million billion trillion a year. Richard Bagg and Dodo are bitter rivals, and it was Dodo who ruined Richard's chances to going to medical school by giving him an incredibly smelly milkshake before the big entrance to his exam interview with some Illuminati, who is being held by Mr. O'Hare to keep their mouth shut. Anyways, Richard was, at the time, about to spy on Dodo's operations and see if he does anything different when it comes to selling his gas compared to us. I haven't been able to get my results. Now, Colonel Dodo is also fully aware of my love for King of the Hill and recently lent me a DVD of the show to watch. He claimed that the DVD contained a never-before-seen episode of the show. Sadly, this episode ended up changing my life forever for the better and for the worse in more ways than one. Here's my story. It all happened about 3 months ago when I had just gotten the DVD from Colonel Dodo and was heading back to my house to watch it. I live in a super mansion like some sort of Scrooge McDuck. Ha, only joking, I wish. I actually live in a small yacht in the middle of the river, which stinks like rat piss and cheese. My neighbors all hate me because I watch King of the Hill with the volume turned up to 100% every single day and every single night. This led me to get to multiple noise complaints in the past, as well as threats from the Foston crime fist family who supply the yachts. However, though, nothing came out of the complaints. Arriving at my work, I wave hello to my neighbor, Mr. Hinkle, who owned about a yacht next to me, and he simply replied with F you. He's my friend, if you can already tell, my dear reader. I laughed and I entered my yacht and then went inside the kitchen area where I made myself a cup of PG Tips. It tasted freaking disgusting as my water was rather pooey. No joke, it was brown and very dangerous to drink, but I don't give a crap. No siree, I don't. After drinking my tea, I went to the living room area of my boat and looked over at the disc. Dodo had not given me the case, claiming that the disc didn't come with one. The disc was rather blander than Jeremy Irons cereal. It had nothing in it. I popped that sucker into my DVD player and it started. The episode started off with a brief cold opener which had Vegetable Man talking on screen. "Brother, have you seen my vegetable?" The Vegetable Man asked, although he was wearing them. He was likely to be a toast on an age on a tactic taught him by his grandfather. A fine man, I might add. Anyways, after this clip abruptly ended with the theme song began to play. Something was wrong. Well, for starters, Hank was farting violently and Bill looked rather sicker than Arthur Morgan. Also, the four men then pulled out their disgust faces while taking sips from their beer cans. Also, the montage never happened and just the four just stood there, unmoving. This made me rather uneasy, but I brushed it off as a madman's hysterica. I am part MMM after all. I'm also during the part where Hank's head appears to be in a circle and spins around it. I would just look like non-stop spinning as Hank cried, "I think I'm gonna vomit." Then the title card then appeared and then it read, "The True Madness of Hank Hill." I found this to be odd as King of the Hill never had a title card and I brushed this off. Anyways, the episode started off with Hank sitting in his kitchen and table making a sandwich. He held the sandwich up on screen and it had poop all over it. "It's just crap, it's not gonna kill ya." Hank laughed evilly as he laughed like this for 10 hours. I mean, I just checked my watch. Then the episode then cut to Hank having a beer outside with Dale, Bill, and Boomhauler. Only Boomhauler appears to actually spoke normally, and I could understand him just perfectly. Also, Hank looked angry. I mean, proper angry. His face was even redder than the chef of past city. Peggy then came up to Hill and said, Hank, please help get the groceries out of the car. This caused Hank to yell, shut the hell up. Then he then proceeded to hit Peggy in the chest and laughed as she fell to the floor in pain. Hank, what the heck are you doing? Dale asked as Hank then turned back to his attention to his three friends. You better run or outrun my gun, Hank sang as he pulled out an AK-47. Oh dang, we better run, Boomhauler cried as Bill and Dale ran down the street, Hank chasing them down with his car. Boomhauler then ended up getting run over and killed by Hank, while meanwhile Dale and Bill reach Megalomart and then hide inside the store. Hank hissed at the sight of the store and refused to follow Dale and Bill inside, even though it could be very easy for him to do so. With that, Hank just returned home, only to find a large group of police officers waiting for him to led by Raymond Mack. You are coming with us, Mr. Hill, Mack said, as Hank yelled, You'll never take me alive! Hank then attempts to charge towards Raymond, only to get knocked down by the fellow officer, Noel Jones. Old Jones did have something for Raymond, but yet again, everybody loves Raymond. Get it? Oh, shut up. I know you do. I could see that look on your face. The screen then transitioned to show Hank Hill inside of a jail cell, mumbling things under his breath. He was then given his new cellmate, who was none other than Buck Strickland himself. Buck, what are you doing here? Hank asked as Strickland proceeded to explain about Strickland propane was ashamed all along as he was getting his gas from Megalomart all along. When Strickland then asked Hank why he attacked Peggy and murdered Boomhauler, Hank then proceeded to explain that Peggy had become quite cozy with his neighbor and arch nemesis Constantinophone. And of course, he had learned from Lumen that he had recently gotten a job at Megalomart that Boomhauler was getting his gas from him at this time. Now, this of the act of the betrayal from Boomhauler was unforgivable in Hank's mind, which he had tried to kill him. Now, this was also why he did not follow Dale or Bill inside the store. Strickland then said, We gotta get out of here, Hank. Not this time, old man, Hank said as he proceeded to shoot Strickland in the chest with a handgun that he somehow smuggled into the prison. Hank then proceeded to summon Genie from Aladdin, who had helped Hank teleport back to his house. Arriving back at his house, Hank then went to his garage and pulled out several cans of kerosene. Dad, what are you doing? Bobby asked, and Hank then pointed at him and said, This is a Billy. Hank then allowed Bobby to accompany him to Megalomart, where Hank's ultimate revenge would be taking place. While driving towards the store, Hank laughed evilly to himself. Suddenly, the episode then cut to a brief clip of Sylvester Stallone talking about a new movie that he was planning on making. Picture this, I play as an undercover agent on Warburton's head, and then I have to go undercover inside this King's Mill HQ. Then it showed Stallone then trying to undercover act by, again, for information from King's Mill's recipes, and any sinister Squidly secrets they had to have up their sleeves. Then another clip then came on screen, which showed Captain Blue drinking blood. Yeah, actual blood, because he has a serious problem. Send Dr. Phil his camera, which was down at Pronto. So after the episode finally came back to show Hank and Bobby arriving at the Megalomart with Hank, removing the cans of kerosene from the trunk of his car. This is it, boy. You ready for this? Hank asked as Bobby certainly replied with, I like cookie dough too, Dad. Hank and Bobby then began pouring the kerosene all around the building, and Lewin took low notice. Uncle Hank, what are you doing? Lewin asked, as Hank then threw a brick at her, knocking her out. Phew, that was close, Hank sighed as he and Bobby finished pouring the kerosene onto the floor of the mart. And at that moment, Dale and Bill showed up carrying shotguns. Hank! Dan yelled angrily before continuing with, You killed Boomhauler and now we're going to kill you too. Not today, Hank yelled as he then threw a lighter on the store, causing it to go into flames. Not to Megalomart, Bill cried as Hank then said to Bobby, Now we deal with Khan. Dale and Bill were so emotionally over Lomart's destruction that they had failed to notice that Hank and Bobby were fleeing the scene in their car. Arriving at Con's house, Hank then produced some Molotov cocktails from a thin air and used them to set fire to the house, killing Con, and only Con because his family were on holidays in Las Vegas, a holiday which Hank himself had paid in order to get them out of the house. Now, of course, Con had fallen ill right before the flight due to Hank spiking his food with ass sauce. Now, with Con dead, Hank then began dancing and returning home, grabbing a beer to celebrate. His celebration was cut short when Hank heard a knock at the door. Opening the door, he was confronted by Bill and Dale, who first said, "First Boomhauler and now Con? When does it stop, Hank? After you killed the president?" Dale asked. "Of course not. It is over," Hank said as Dale and Bill made their way inside the house. Hank sat down in the living room with Dale and Bill before saying, "I killed both Boomhauler and Strickland and Con and burnt down Megomart. I have my many reasons. They were causing you not using propane. It turns out Strickland uses propane and sham us all along. But should I have seen it sooner?" Dale then proceeded to light himself a cigarette before saying, "Wait a minute, I got a wife." "What?" Hank asked, as Dale proceeded to run into Hank's garage. "What is he doing?" Hank said, as he got up from the sofa and then followed Dale into the garage, where he saw Dale stealing his lawnmower once again. Dale then proceeded to drive the lawnmower down the streets, Hank jumping in front of Bill's shoulders. "After him!" Hank yelled as Bill responded with, "Oh, okay." Bill and Hank then chased Dale down the streets until Dale was run over by a bus, killing him and destroying Hank's lawnmower in the process. Hank simply shrugged before saying, whatever, I could always buy a new one." Hank then even invited Bill around over for dinner, and Bill smiled an incredibly cheesy smile. Now this time there was a dinner for old Bill, and he was going to enjoy it. With that, the episode ended with the normal credits. I took the disc out of the DVD player, then proceeded to eat it like a donut, as if I was really hungry. I had not eaten anything all day after all. The episode offended me in many ways than I could probably tell you. I then proceeded to ride myself a yacht back towards Dodo Incorporated's, crashing the massive ferry and by an own smelly captain in the process. "Hey, sailor," the captain sang as he danced like a madman. It was so painfully cringy that I actually vomited for a good 10 minutes. Well, it was more than like 11 minutes, but whatever. The point is the same. Arriving at Dodo Incorporated, I proceeded to light the entire building on fire with the use of some handy-dandy kerosene. I then proceeded to drive down the street to Dodo's boat. It was the finest boat on the whole river, as Mr. Toad once said. I proceeded to throw some more cocktails down as the boat was lighting it on fire. Colonel Dodo was not killed in either of the flames. He was even out of town for the conference call with his accountant Captain Hook and his first mate Henry Albatross. Also, Captain Kitty and his old friend Colonel Dodo had attempted to stop me from burning down the house. When I burnt down the house, Kitty yelled, "Oh, great wafting waffles!" He then blew his mighty whistle before chasing down the local doctor, who was riding down the streets with an ice cream cart. I shook this off and proceeded to head home. Arriving back in my yacht, I felt nothing but guilt over what I had just done. I looked over the mirror at my guilt-ridden face. That's when I realized something. I was Hank Hill from the entire time. He was me, and I am he. I gagged violently as I heard the bathroom floor of my yacht was open. An all too familiar voice said, "Time's up, Hank." I turned around and came face to face, none other than Gail Gribble, and then sighed as Dale pulled out a large rolling pin. I was in for a long fight and a long night. And that, my little pretties, was Hank Hill's True Madness, a Hank Hill creepypasta. My final thoughts on this story? Well, this is actually a pretty good funny pasta. I'm not gonna lie. I really do find this funny pasta to be rather nice. It is a pretty good, well, I really like this one. So I definitely would have to say, I really do like how this went out. It's a very funny pasta. So it is a pretty good story. Like, to be completely honest, this is actually my favorite King of the Hill story. Like, I mean, there's a few King of the Hill stories I did come across, but this one by Matthew Bumford, I have to say, was the funniest one I have seen. Like, seeing Hank Hill sit there and go all crazy and killing everybody over propane. Oh my goodness. That was actually quite silly. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, I can honestly Hank Hill sitting there and doing all these things, because, you know, if you watch Hank Hill, you know, it's kind of like a Family Guy, well, it's kind of like Family Guy, because I think King of the Hill is like a Adult Swim cartoon. I could be wrong, however, but yeah, I definitely would have to say that King of the Hill was a pretty good, well, sitcom, from what I remember, and I definitely have to say this one was pretty funny. Like, I really do like how it all went out. It's really well made in detail. I liked how the funny pasta went out, and, you know, seeing Hank Hill doing all this, I can honestly see this happening. I can honestly see Hank Hill doing this, because Hank Hill has done, you know, maybe these things kind of like that in the past. Like, especially if you watch the older episodes of King of the Hill. Like, I'm not gonna lie, King of the Hill with this episode was flat out amazing. I really do find this one to be an enjoyable story. It's very enjoyable, and it's really funny too. Like, I really do like how the episode went out itself. It's a pretty good story. Now, I would have to say, I think I kind of remember watching, you know, King of the Hill like a while ago, but it's still a pretty good story. Like, I'm really have to say it's still a pretty good story for what this is. Now, I have to say this episode was quite funny. I actually really found this episode to be quite funny. You know, seeing Hank Hill doing, you know, what he did and that, it's just very funny. Like, I really do like how this went out. It's a pretty good funny story. I really would have to say, when I first saw this story, I honestly started laughing because of how silly it was, especially when I was reading this. This story was written by Matthew Bumford. Now, Matthew Bumford, I want to say this story was hilarious. You did a great job. This was awesome. And I really hope you, you know, make more of these King of the Hill pastas, because they're pretty good, to be honest. So I really would have to say it's a pretty good pasta. I really do like how this went out. It's a pretty good one. Now, would have to say I really do like how this one went out. It's a pretty good story. It's pretty funny too. Like, the grammar is pretty good in this story, along with the sentence structuring and the storyline. I actually still find the storyline to be quite goofy too. Like, I can honestly see King of the Hill maybe doing something like this. I can honestly see that being the case. Like, I could see King of the Hill sitting there and doing this stuff. Like, if you watch King of the Hill, you should probably already know that this is not out of the ordinary for, well, Hank to do this. This is not out of the ordinary for Hank Hill to sit there and do all this, which is, it's pretty funny, and, you know, it's pretty believable too. Like, Hank Hill has done pretty silly things too, so there's definitely that. I really would have to say this one was definitely a pretty interesting pasta. It's pretty well made in detail. I really do find this one to be a pretty good one. As you could see, Matthew Bumford did a pretty good job for this story. I really do find this one to be, well, it's enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie, it's very enjoyable for what this is, and I actually found this one to be, well, it's quite amazing. Now, really would have to say it's pretty good. I really do find this one to be, you know, enjoyable as well. I really would have to say when I first saw this one was actually pretty good. Now, I remember seeing this, well, story when I was younger, and, well, maybe it might have been last year or something. It actually was pretty good. Despite, you know, the few flaws of this story, I still find this one to be quite good. Like, for what this story really is. I still find this one to be quite good. So, I really do find this one to be quite funny. It's a pretty good funny pasta. I really found this one to be enjoyable. So, I guess with that being the case, and with that being said, I'm just going to sit here and say right now that, this story was pretty good. I really like this story that Matthew Bumford wrote. Now, like, I'm going to sit here and say this right now, and like I always continue to say, to wrap things up, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regarding these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. A really good funny pasta. It was really well made. I really found this one to be funny. It's pretty amazing. Really do like how this went out. And it's a really awesome story. So I guess with that being the case, and with that being said, What did you guys think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro, because I'm out.